even close to the bridge. Like the classical guys that I know, they play close to the bridge to reduce volume, and they are good at it. It requires real finesse. But anywhere past these holes, you're kind of home free. Now, you don't want to get too far down onto the fingerboard because you lose volume. The further you get from the bridge, like you start to, once you get past the sweet spot, you start to lose volume, right? Because it's too far to travel. So you gotta want to watch for that. It's a little bit increased scratchiness over here for some reason. So you want to watch that too. So I generally tend towards this area, like right about here. See that?
Yeah.
And that seems to be like when I pluck it, you can hear it's a nice clean pluck there. See? Ringing nice. If I did it up here, you hear how there's something that introduces to the sound there? It's like a pinchy thing. Yeah. And so that's what happens with your bow too.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's one of those fake it till you make it things. If you make sure you're away from the bridge all the time, it'll give you a good enough sound to make you think you're doing great.
Others in the household will appreciate that.
No, it is. It's a really good way to do it. So anyway, that was great. I was really happy to hear you a little bit there. And how's everybody else doing? Pretty good?
Pretty good.
That's good. That's great. And
I missed last week. I had a terrible cold. The world's worst cold.
Oh no!
A week ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a lot better. I'm a lot better now, but.
Ooh boy, that's good. I haven't had a cold now in over 2 years actually, which is amazing.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
Well, when you get one, I think when you get one now, you're in big trouble.
Could be. Yeah, could be, and yeah.
And they're going around.
Yes, and we're starting to see people and encounter people. I had a gig on Saturday night at Dorakio, which was great. First actual gig, paid gig after the pandemic, and it was for the St. Andrew's Society, which you would think would be a very boring bunch of people, but actually they were party animals. And we got into the Scottish. See, Ross brought his border pipes, and we started getting into Scottish music. And since we were background is our favorite kind of gig because we just go racking through tunes and trying to remember tunes and put together things. And we started remembering the Scottish stuff, and it got to be quite a lot of fun. And the bar was having a lot of fun too, so it was quite a night. So we are starting to encounter people now and see people, and we have North Atlantic Drift session on Thursday, and it's going to be back to 100% capacity. So that's going to be a busy night, and yeah, so certainly we're starting to, get into that territory again for sure. So the colds are going to come, no question. And the kids at school, of course, that's where I always get them from. The damn filthy kids, my God. Anyway, so shall we get started? Start working away. We're in review mode, right? We're going back and we're trying to strengthen stuff that we've done in the past. And so I'm really enjoying that. My intermediate class is doing it too. And everybody seems to be getting stronger at everything. So now, let me think. I'm trying to think of what we were working on the swallowtail with the roll. Is that right? Yes. We were also working on Drowsy Maggie. Okay. And did we do anything after that? No, that's the furthest we've gone, is that? Okay. So maybe we'll dredge something up there tonight and start strengthening that as well. But let's start off. We'll practice our G major since those both tunes are in E minor. And Julie's having internet issues. Okay. I'll keep that in mind, Julie. If you have to come in and out, that's totally fine. Yeah, it's one of those things. So I'm going to get tuned up because I haven't been at this that much today. I've been running around like crazy. Okay, I'm in two. I got new strings today. Thank God. Il Canones, my favorite kind, and my favorite kind of E string as well. So I don't want to put them on right away though, because it'll take forever for them to settle in. And we want to have tunes on Thursday, so I don't want to be tuning every 2 sets of tunes there on Thursday. So I'm going to wait to put them on, but it's very exciting. I really need them. Okay, so let's do our G major, and we'll do the slow one, and then with a fast one, we're going to push it a little bit there tonight and see if it stays nice and in tune, okay? So we'll start off with a slow tuner. Ready, go. All right, let's do our arpeggio while we're at it. Ready, and... Now, I don't know about you, but that arpeggio was bang on for me. And I don't even have my phone. I left it upstairs, so it's the old Korg, Picky Picky. And he was even happy with me. So we got to do it again right away. Arpeggio. Let's see if I can do it just like that. Ready, go. Not as good for me. There was 2 notes there. Did you guys figure out which notes were slightly out of tune from my end? Heather did? No? Well, I'll tell you, it was the B on the G string, not surprising, and then the E on the D string, and they were both flat. So all I did was press a little harder and came into tune, and that's why you didn't notice. See what I mean? Now, shall we try it faster? Scale followed by arpeggio, a little bit faster, more like this. Okay? Prepare yourself. Brace yourself. Okay, ready, and... Okay, how did everybody do? Batting average. Pretty good? Let's do it again then. Right away. Same speed. A 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, arpeggio, same speed. Ready, go. Feeling good? That worked out? Pretty good? Let's do it again then. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so how are we doing with the old G major? How's everybody feeling? You get it? You feeling stronger, like more reliable with the left hand? Okay, that's good. Now let's try maybe some double stop practice. Have we tried that in the key of G with the arpeggio notes? Have we done that at all? A little bit? Okay, let's give it a try. So the first double stop we're going to try in the key of G is open G and open D together. Okay, let's try playing one down and one up. Let's do that twice. So it's going to be 4 bows of G and D together. Okay, let's give that a go. Ready, go. Now, when I was doing that, I was doing those double stops. The one thing about double stops is that it vibrates your violin a lot more because obviously it's 2 strings working at it instead of 1. And so when I get a double stop working properly, I feel that right through my jawbone. And because the whole top of the fiddle is really going at it. And that's part of the way that I know that I'm getting a good belting out, ringing double stop, is feeling that vibration. Even in my hand I can feel it. See that? So it's something to watch for. It's another one of these signs that it's working properly. So let's do it again. Same thing. Down, up, G and D. Ready, go. Yeah, now I was watching, and there was a couple of bows that looked really, really good. Like just on the right angle and not pushing down at all. And hopefully you noticed that on your end as well. Okay, really good. Especially on the end, I saw this with the hand, which is really good because that's how we finish our up bow. So great to see that. Now let's try the next one, which is going to be G2, that's the B, the low B, and the open D string. It's a third. Now, so you can see with me, my elbow is over as far, well, not as far as it can go, but almost, to get that G string, because I want to be completely over the strings and not touching the D string at all. See that? And you can see my fingers actually kind of on the other side of the string, like on the corner. And I'm kind of wrenching in that pressure there so I can stay completely out of the way of the D. And that's how we do that double stop. So get your finger in place, make sure your B is in tune. Here it is. And let's try that double stop. So let's do it same way. 4 bows. Ready, go. Okay, how are we feeling? Getting there? Good. Now it's funny, I noticed on my old Korg tuner, this guy does not like double stops. Like the tunable tuner doesn't mind them at all. And it's really nice because it shows you which one is out of tune. It only shows you which note is out of tune, which for me is very useful. But this guy, when you play that, I had that third bang on. And so I'm playing a B and a D, and this tells me that I'm playing a very in tune G. Because that's the way it hears the overtone. See, the way that it mixes in the microphone makes it think it's a G. And it is a G chord. It's part of the G chord. Very interesting. Anyway, so yeah, yes.
What should you be seeing on the tuner when you're playing that?
If you're in tune, it'll show you one note or the other and showing you a green screen, basically.
Okay.
If one of your notes is out of tune, it'll show you that. It usually shows you that. Okay?
Okay.
And so if you're playing B and D, it's going to show you probably the B because the D is the open string. Although you guys know that you can even flatten yourself on an open string if you heave into it too much with your bow. So you got to watch for that. But yeah, that's a good question, Elaine, and it's something that I've studied quite a lot on the tuner so that, so people can know what to expect, and that's what I've noticed so far. All right, good. Now let's give it another try. So get that B in there. I'll give it to you again. There it is. Now let's try that double stop. Ready, go. All right. Everybody hearing that third ringing out there? Is it working okay? Any questions about that one? No? Okay. So the next one is going to be an octave. We're going to try an octave. So that's D3 and open G together. So that's a G and a G. That's what it sounds like when it's in tune. It's very harmonious. It's like, I almost call it a unison. So that's D3 and open G. That's what it should sound like, the octave. Now the octave is a lot easier to hear, especially when it's out of tune. So here's an octave out of tune. Yeah. See, it comes in together there. It's unmistakable. Here it is when it's sharp. See how the modulation changes, eh? So it's a little different, the flat to the sharp, when you're out of tune. It's a little different, but good to learn. There's bang on again. Okay, so let's get that third finger on the D string there. You don't have to sweat about staying out of the way on the inside of your hand with this one, because the string you're double stopping with is the one below. So you just make sure those finger nails are not touching. Get that G in tune. Here it is. And now we're going to very gently with the bow go down, up, down, up. Ready, go. Okay, now how did everybody do with that? It's good? Yeah, it's a nice one. I use the octave quite a bit. Okay, it's a really nice way. Yes, Heather?
And it seems softer than the other ones.
The interval itself?
What?
Like
if interval means playing the two at the same time?
Yes.
It just seems gentler and softer.
Yes.
Less vibration?
Well, it's actually more vibration. It's interesting, but it's the way that the two vibrations overlap. So if you think about the notes as being these crazy waves like this, right? And each one having a different frequency. And so if they fit together nice, then you don't even notice, that there's two at the same time. And that's what you hear with the octave, eh? It's really sounds like one note almost, But when you have the third, so the perfect intervals are the fourth, the fifth, and the octave. They're the ones that sound like one note when they're in tune. They're also the ones that can't be minor or major. They can only be perfect. Okay? So that means if they're even a tiny bit out of tune, it's really, really apparent because it creates this modulation, this wah, 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 wah. See that? Now, the rest of the intervals can be major or minor. They change, like the third. So this is the third that we just played, the major third. And you can hear that's bang on in tune, but you can hear there's still a bit of a modulation to the sound. Now let me play you a minor third. Spooky, eh? Very spooky. It's right for the time of year. And now here's the major third again. See, so it has two ways that it can be. And so it's when you hear the interval together, you're always going to have the modulation even when it's in tune. But the octave and the fourth and the fifth are not like that. They're perfect. They sound like one note. And if they're a little bit out of tune, you really, really hear it. You see what I mean? Yeah. So good observation. Really, really good. And that's why. Those perfect intervals. That's why the strings are a fifth. No modulation to the sound there. Just a straight up unison sound. Almost sounds like one note. And here's the fourth. Same thing. Here it is a little bit out of tune. See, it's like even you guys who are not as experienced as me can hear that right away. And that was only a tiny little bit flat. Just the tiniest little bit. And so that's why those intervals are so useful to us for training our ear, because they're easier to deal with in that way. Anyway, shall we try that again, the octave? Here's your G. Okay, let's get it. Let's do it. So the four bows. Ready, go. How are people feeling? Is it sounding okay? Yeah, Joanne, you don't look convinced.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. Are you hearing a modulation to your sound?
I don't know what you mean by modulation.
Here's a modulation. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, a little bit. Sometimes I feel I get one string more than the other, and then.
Yes. So for that, the best advice I have for that is when you go to correct it, try to use tiny moves. See that? Tiny little moves. Because remember, that's how we do double stops, is to angle the bow using this kind of bow push-up technique. Remember that? So yeah, so if you find you're on one string more than the other, just make a tiny little micro move and you'll probably be bang on. Okay? Try not to use the elbow, because then you get in real trouble. Okay, let's try one more set of octaves, guys. Here's your G. And we'll do it once more. Ready, go. All right, mine was perfect. And the one before was not perfect for me, because I breathed at one point and it changed my finger pressure on my G and it went slightly sharp. And you guys didn't notice because I brought it in right away, you know, but it's still I'm always trying to get a little bit better and a little bit less work. Anyway, how's everybody feeling about the octave? Is there any questions or comments? No. Okay. Now let's try another one. So far we have this, then we do this again, and the octave. So the next one, the most challenging one, is going to be another third, and it's a G and a B. That's what it sounds like. Okay, this is going to be the most challenging one we do. So D3, that's what it should sound like if you're tuning it. And A1. And then when we play them together, it sounds like this. It's a beautiful sound. I love that one. I use it all the time. They call it the bluegrass interval. So you can use that sound. You know, it's another way to get the sound in your head. Let's do it again. So here's your G. Here's your B. And we're going to play them together. One more. Okay, how's that going for everybody? Now the reason it's the most challenging one is because you're using a finger for each note in the double stop. So that means that either one could be out of tune, right? Either one. My dad's teacher used to say, you have to see which one is telling the truth. So, in my opinion, it's always good to tune the lower one first. So if you play that interval and you're like, oh, that's not right, check the lower one first, bring it into tune, and then use that to tune your B. Let me show you. So I hit that double stop. Oh, it's terrible. So now I'm going to check and see which one is out of tune. I think I'm going to check the G. No, the G is fine. So now I'm going to check the B. Oh, it's terrible. So I'm going to bring it in. Everybody hear that come in? I'm going to do it again. So I'm checking my G. Now I'm going to check that B. It's terrible. And it's going to come in. Everybody hear that? Oh, good. So the third is not the easiest one to hear. So if you could hear it, that's really, really good. And that's what you're looking for to bring that together. Okay, let's try one more time with that one. Then we'll leave these double stops for a while. Okay, so here's your G. Here's your B. Now let's do it. Ready, go. All right. People look a little bit pleased. Is that going okay? It's a nice one. Once you get it, it's really, really nice. Okay? So far we've got 4. Or is it 4? Yeah, 4 altogether because we're doing that open string one twice in the progression. The next one we would do would be the octave again. It's just this time it's on the A string, A3 and open D. And then the last one would be a 4th, and that's A3 and G. Also a hard one. Very, very hard when you first start trying to do it. But this is what it sounds like. Okay? And then we would come back down. We'll deal with that at another time. But let's see how far we can get here. So we're going to start with the open G and open D. And the next one we're going to do is the G2 and open D. Okay? So let's do it, and we're going to do, let's say, 2 bows for each one. So G and open D together. Ready, 2, 3, go. Up. Now the 2. Open again. Octave. And this one at the top. That's going to be the plan. That's what we're going to do, okay? And it'll give you a start with double stopping in that key. Shall we try that one more time? Let's do it one more time.
Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Can you just go over what those last 2 were?
Yep, so that's A3 and open D. Everybody try that one. It's another octave. And then the last one is A3 and E2, but the E2 is in the low position. people consider that one to be the hardest one. I remember when I was kind of playing with it years ago. I was teaching at a camp that had some classical violinists at it, and I was working on that fourth, and one of the violinists goes, "Fourths are hard." And he was saying that it's long held that's the one that's really hard to hit. I find the problem with it is that with your third finger, and I have small hands, this terrible curse of small hands. So when I have my third finger down, I find there's always a lack of pressure. Like I need more pressure to get in tune because of my small hands, right? But then when I put my two down, my two is quite long from giving people the finger too much when I was little. And so now it pokes down really far. So it gives me too much pressure. So when I slap my hand on there to play a fourth, well, it used to be, when I slap my hand on there to play a fourth, the two is driving down way too much and the three is not quite enough, you know? So I had to learn that. So now I know exactly how to hit it, and I could just get it bang on, no problem, because I know, say, let off the pressure on my two and I bear down on that three and I know I'm going to get it in tune. And that's how you get more reliable with your hand. You learn it and you react in the way that you know it needs to react because of whatever deficiencies you were born with. Okay, let's give one more try to this set of double stops ascending, and then we'll go on to our tunes. Okay, good. 2 nice big bows on each set. Ready, open G, open D, ready, go. Hup. G2. Hup. Opens again. Octave, D3 open G. D3 A1. A3 open D. E2 A3. Okay, and I can't emphasize, of course, enough leaving your fingers down. So when I finish playing that octave, I know I'm in tune because octaves are easy. And then I leave that sucker there and I move the 2 over independently. See that? Making my job easier. Now I know that one of them is in tune. Okay? So keep that in mind. Any questions, problems, queries, concerns, or complaints? No? Keep playing around with it. It strengthens your bow like crazy. Just keep paying attention to it and make those micro movements. Very small movements to adjust. Okay? Alright, so let's do our swallowtail to warm up. Last time I thought we were getting pretty fast, if I remember correctly. Anybody remember the metronome marking we got up to? Last week on the swallowtail? It was getting up there. It was like 80 or something like that, wasn't it? I think it was. I don't have my metronome with me, but we'll check it out. So let's see. Why don't we start it? So to start thinking about doing it, say... Is that going to work out for most people there? Let's do it. And we're going to do it endlessly, like 3 times. 1, 2, 3. more time. All right, take a little breather. How are we doing? Everybody's bows were moving great. I was watching the fingers. Everybody's doing great. People getting rolls in there, which is good. So how are we feeling about the swallowtail? Anybody having any problems? Because I'd like to try getting it faster. Now's the time to talk about problems.
Could we review the rolls, all of them, just
Yeah, man, no
once
problem.
over?
So it's a third finger roll that we're doing. And that's on the A string. So it sounds like this. Okay, that's the one we're doing. Yeah, and I think we're doing the one at the end. Well, no, we're doing both of them. So we got the one in the middle. And then at the end. That's where we're doing them. That's how we roll. Okay? You see, I'll go over that again. So it's in the middle. And at the end. So where it says DCD, we're replacing that with a roll. Okay? Because DCD is almost a roll. And when you go looking for where to put rolls in, that's kind of a prime place to put a roll where something is almost a roll already. Well, everybody does it like that. Okay, does that help? All right. You still confused? You don't look totally sold.
No, I know like the finger pattern for the roll, but my issue is like fitting it in timing wise, more than the actual fingers.
Yes.
Just like hearing when it, because it goes by so fast.
Well, one thing, that's a really good point, and that was what eluded me with rolls for the longest time, was the timing. It's everything, really. It's the key to getting it. So just remember that the first note, which is the melody note, in this case a D, is a little bit longer. You hold it for a full eighth note before you start your finger work. So it's not like this. It's like this. Yum diddly yum. That looked like it worked good. Yep. Now the other thing is I keep my two down. See that? And I rest my hand, the weight of my hand on the two. And you wouldn't believe how that frees up your third finger. When you rest the weight of your hand on the two, the three is suddenly nimble and doesn't mind coming up. See that? Unlike when it's on its own, it really doesn't like to. So it might help as well. So I keep the two down, and I do that yum diddly yum. Why don't we all try, 10 rolls in a row? Okay? We'll do them going down, we'll do them going up. On the D. Nice and slow like that, and I'll do this so you can see my fingers. Even closer. Ready, go. One more. Now I gotta say, looking at the fingers, Looks like by rights it should be working. I have no way of knowing, but it does look right. Everybody looks like that. It's 3, 4, 3, 2, 3. Looks like you're holding the first one the right length of time with your fingers. Now the other thing is, you speed up your bow when you start that finger work and it really pops out. You hear that? Just before you go to do your flicky, you put the gas on and you get the little pop. Something to keep in mind when you're trying to do it, okay? Now, how's everybody feel about their rolls now? Good. Heather looks like she's ready to roll. Let's do it. Let's do it again. We'll put it in the tune. Let's stay the same speed for the first time around. Second time around, I'm going to push a tiny bit. 1, 2, 3. right. How was it? Good? Lena, you don't look happy about your swallowtail. How about you, Heather? You don't look happy either.
Well, whenever it comes up to the roll, it's almost like I get stage fright.
Yeah.
It's like, ah!
Yes.
I can't do it anymore.
It's
Even though I've practiced.
it's horse at the hurdle. It's a very, very common thing. And my fix for it, because it happens to me too, my fix for it is put the gas on the bow. Move the bow anyway. Your fingers will probably react, you know what I mean? But it's that bow arm that's a better judge of your own playing than you are. And if it thinks that you're not quite up to something, it's just like puts on the brakes, you know. So just try to put on gas and see if you can motor through it. And I was gonna say, and I don't know if I mentioned, you don't have to try every one. Okay? Some people get along really well by trying just one per part, and kind of looking at it coming up and coming up on it and doing it. And it's really good to do that. So you don't have to do them all. Now, if you find you're getting good and you want lots of cracks, then you do them all, you know. But if you're intimidated by it and your hand, your bow arm is like kind of like unsure, just do one and see if you can get it in there. Okay? How about you, Lena? Did you fix your rhythm problem?
Yeah, so I can hear it now, but my fingers just freak out. Like they just go blah, 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 when I get to the time because it's so quick. So I think it's just a muscle memory thing because I can do the other roll with the other fingers, but
Yeah.
the roll with the pinky is just not like it's not happening in my muscles yet.
Well, and it's common, and that's why over in Ireland they consider that one to be the hardest one. The last challenge is getting the third finger roll. Something somebody pointed out to me once is that if you get into the habit of using your fourth finger more in your practice, then that can strengthen it up for doing those third finger rolls. So, for instance, when you do your scale, using your fourth finger, say on the way up the scale, would be really good just to get it in the games. My buddy Kim used to say you don't want to be a three-fingered fiddler. You know, you want that fourth finger to be part of your army and ready to go, you know. Like, I much rather use my open strings than use the fourth finger because it's much louder and more present sound. But I can use my fourth finger, you know, and I do keep it in shape. I use it here and there just to keep it strong and keep it reacting like it should. So you can do that. Now the problem is that when you're practicing your scales and you're using your fourth finger, you cannot notice that you're at a tune because you have no open strings that kind of tell you, whoa, man, you have been really sharp, you know. So you have to make sure they're in tune. That's the only thing. You can use your tuner or your open string and just check in and make sure they're in tune. But it is a really good idea to get the pinky in the game. All right. Now, do you want to try that anymore, or should we leave it? Have we ground away at it enough? I never mind trying to. Yeah, more. Let's do it. Okay. We'll do the same treatment. We'll do 3 times, and I'll just push you slightly each time, okay? And like I said, if you're having trouble or if your horse is balking at the hurdle, just pick one.
And
Yeah.
what are you using as a pickup at the beginning?
An E and an F. Scale up
Okay.
to the G from E.
G.
Okay, and the E is long. See that? And it's a big up bow, like every big good pickup should be. Okay. I think I hear Sylvia on the steps there. No, I don't. She had beavers at home tonight because of the weather, because they're meeting outside, and it was Halloween night, so she's Medusa this year. And I'll tell you, it looks pretty good. Jennifer made the dress. She finished it today. And we did it last week, a headband that's got all these snakes sticking off of it. And we spray painted it green, so it's pretty cool. Okay, let's do it. Slow to start. 1, 2, 3. Was that twice or 3 times? Was that twice? 2 times. Okay, that's probably pretty good, right? I mean, it's a long stint when you're playing it at that tempo. So how are people feeling now? As the eye doctor says, better, worse? Going along pretty good? Okay, we'll keep working on it. It's a work in progress. All these tunes are. So now, let's take our Drowsy Maggie. Okay, very, very similar tune. I always say, all those E minor tunes are so similar, eh? They all kind of have the same idea going. I'm going to grab another bubbly. One sec. Alright, Drowsy Maggie. Not to be confused with Sleepy Maggie, which is a really great tune, Scottish tune. I was playing it with my buddy Ross there the other night. Have you guys ever heard that tune, Sleepy Maggie? Not really? Ashley McIsaac is the one that made it really famous with his record back in 1993 or whatever that was. Hi, How Are You Today with Mary Jane Lamond. Great tune, Highland pipe tune, obviously. I'm sure you can hear that, but it is a great one. It's challenging. It's not challenging in terms of the melody. I'm sure you guys can hear that. It's pretty simple melody and it's repetitive, but it's the shape of the hand for the key of B minor and the intonation. Because when you're at a tune in B minor, you can really tell. It's really, really glaringly apparent. And also, just the playing on the high strings, getting a nice sound there, and making it all kind of sound nice is really hard. So it's a good one to practice, but we'll leave that for another time. Let's stick to the drowsy one. Okay, so you guys remember how this tune goes? Now, what's the roll? Is that the one we're doing there? Yeah, so the first finger roll, the B roll is what we're doing there. Okay, so let's go ultra slow to start with. Give you time for the choreography. 1, 2, 3, Here we go. check in. How are people doing? How drowsy is Maggie anyway? Is anybody having trouble getting from one end of the tune to the other? Is there anything you don't understand? A weird pickup or anything at all? I can help. No? Okay, well, let's take the grinder to it then. And see if we can get her smooth. Okay. So was that an okay tempo to start off with? Let's do it then. Same tempo to start off with. We'll do it a good few times, all right? 1, 2, 3, and... get up there? How are people feeling at that tempo? Not too bad? Oh, that's great. Very, very good. And some of the rolls are happening? Oh my God, that's amazing. I'm so glad we went back to strengthen this one. So now the only thing that would make it better, of course, is to go faster, because the eventual, the dancing speed for a tune like this is... See that? So it's kind of like, it's up there, right? So that's kind of, if you were to want to improve, that would be the best way to improve, especially if your intonation is good, if your roll still seems good. The only thing left to do is to try to speed it up, okay? And when I'm talking about speeding it up, I'm talking about trying to make all those moves into one move. The roll and the fingering for the tune and the bow, joining it all together to be one little move you do with both hands. See that? See, there's not much of anything going on. It's just you're combining it all, taking out all the space, and before you know it, the arses are moving around the room, It's just like that, okay? Any questions or problems or hang-ups about Drowsy Maggie? Anything at all? Just to keep practicing it? Well, we'll check in on it. We'll keep checking in on it every time, okay? We'll spend a little bit of time on it. We'll do it 3 times. Try to get it faster and faster and faster. As we do that, if something gets in your way, I want to know about it, all right? I can help. I can get that happening with your hand, and we can keep going faster and faster. It would be really, really good. Okay? Now let's strengthen something else up. I have to leave at 8:30 because I got to go get Jerome at his scout meeting downtown, Queen Street and Dufferin Street. He is some kind of random, I don't really even know what he is. He made his own costume for the most part, except for his robe this year, but he has a big scythe and a robe, and his arms are wrapped in hockey tape, and he's got like a red belt, and he's got these little rune markings on everything, and so it's just like general darkness, I think, is what he's going for this year, I remember doing the same thing when I was that age, because that's the age that I started to go trick-or-treating with my friends in North Sydney, because where we grew up here in Cape Breton, trick-or-treating did not amount to very much. Like, the next house was a quarter mile away. And also, my mom was a Depression person, and they didn't care about Halloween. That was not a thing in the Depression. And so she didn't really get into it that much, I have to admit. So only once in a while, some years, she'd get into it and dress us up in my sister's clothes and take us up to Alice's to drink tea. And that was Halloween, you know what I mean? But then when I was 11 or 12, I started to go into the city with my friends. My mom would drop me off and we'd go trick-or-treating. Then it got to be kind of, the stakes were a lot higher, and I was making cool costumes and trying to look cool and ominous there in the street, when I was 12, and I did exactly the same thing, except that the only thing is I had very similar outfit to Jerome's when I was 12, and I had this piece of driftwood that looked just like a scythe. And I had it all so cool. I thought it was so cool. The only thing that could make this better would be to be able to blow fireballs in the air, And so I set to work, and I got the end of the scythe, and I was dipping it in gasoline, trying to soak it in gasoline and light it so it would be an ember. And then I had a little hairspray. I was largely unsupervised as well. But I had a little hairspray bottle, pump hairspray bottle, and my idea was if I had an ember going on the end of my side, I could spray the gas out of the spray bottle and make little fireballs. It was a really good idea, except that when I was trying to set it up, I dropped the bottle of gas, and it went everywhere, and the whole floor of the garage lit up, right? In a sudden gas fire, and so I run out and I'm dragging the hose in, and by the time I get back in, it's already out, and it's just smoke. And I go back in my house, and I'm like, oh my God, jeez. And I sit down next to Mom, and she looks at me, and she goes, were you smoking? So I understand what he's going through. I'm glad I'm supervising him, because nobody was supervising me. Anyway, so let's see. What are we going to strengthen up in our last 15 minutes here? What other, did we touch on anything else? You're going to have to remind me. It's been a big week. What other tunes did we touch on?
You mentioned last week that we'd go over Rosebud.
Oh, excellent. Why don't we do that? So pull out the Rosebud of Alan Bale. Now, it's a bit of a change to your hand. We'll run up and down an A major scale real quick first, because there's a big difference between E minor and A on the hand. Okay, so we'll do that first. But then, yes, absolutely, the Rosebud would be great. So here's your low A. Okay, let's play that scale now. A major. Remember the stretchies. Ready, go. Might as well do an arpeggio while you got your fingers still down. Ready, go. One more arpeggio for the strengthener. Ready, go. I'm pretty sure you keep skipping your A string there, Deborah, on the way down. Classic, classic. Lots of people do it for some reason. I don't know why everybody skips the open strings. They're the easy ones, but it's a very common thing for sure. Anyway, everybody got the Rosebud up there? We'll give her a go. Let me just get it up on my computer here. Rosebud. Rosebud from Brenda's book. I can barely see that. That's not going to work out. Maybe. Okay, one sec, guys. Sorry, I'm just having trouble locating it. Rosebud. There we go. That's the one. Okay. Yeah, I got a young fella from Antigonish learning this one. He's desperate to learn the fiddle. This guy's a computer programmer. He's doing real good too. Drew. Okay, Rosebud. So let's take her not too fast. Like, I don't know, like so somewhere about here. Somewhere about there I think will work, eh? Let's give it a go and see what happens. A 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. everybody feeling about their Rosebud? Great old tune. Good, good. So you're not having any problems? It doesn't go much faster than that. Like, unless I was playing it for a dance, I might play it a little bit faster than that, but it would be unusual. That's pretty well the tempo, so that's great. Now, if you wanted to dress it up, I was thinking about it while we were playing there. First of all, there's dynamics, okay? Have we talked about dynamics, how you get dynamics on the fiddle? We have, okay. So more bow means more sound. And for me, in this tune, it's very simple. The way that I would approach it, like, so just if you're thinking about dynamics, I'll give you a little bit of a plan that I use for this tune. And it's to start off strong. As I go up the scale, I get a little more intense. And then I trail off there a little bit. See that? Back to mezzo. Get a little louder. Drop back down. Now here. In the second part, I find to be the climax of the tune. Okay, and you can tell me where you think the climax is. See, you guys heard that, eh? Like, it's in the middle. It's as you climb up to the high A. But even after that, I keep that intensity going right until I arpeggiate down. And by the time I hit back down to the A string there, the long A, I'm back to mezzo. Okay? So that's my plan. It doesn't have to be your plan, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Any plan is better than no plan. So it's something for you to try. And like I said, when you want to play louder, you just move that bow. Okay. The other thing I thought would be cool. Oh, and I was going to say, if you want to practice dynamics, one really good thing a teacher had me do once is play the whole thing forte. The whole thing. Move your bow. See if you can get as much volume as you can. See that? Really belting out each note, and then also play it really soft. See that? And you get you feel there, you learn the different touch, the different approach for the loud and the soft, and it gives you more freedom. Then when you want to use it, your hand knows what it feels like, it's going to do it more readily. Okay? And I still remember that. I thought it was a really, really good thing to do, is to play the whole thing, just maximum volume, play it at very small volume, play it in the middle. Now you know where you're going with each one. Okay, you have some idea. Let's try it one more time with a bit of that dynamic treatment, and as best you can. And then we'll be finished for this week. And next week I'll pick something else. We'll strengthen something else from the past. I'll look through what we've done, and we'll get something going, okay? One more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, everybody, we'll work more on the feeling. That's what my dad always called it, the feeling. We'll work more on that there next time. And thank you very much. Great class tonight. It was really, I worked you hard. And I'll be in touch about more material to strengthen for next week. All right? See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.